Hey guys, so I'm back after about a year. Um, so I released a video recently for Smash. You guys can check that out also. But today I'm talking about Timelords. So this is new stuff for OCG. Just came out. Timelords cannot be special summoned from your deck, and if you control no monsters, you can normal summon them without tributing. Every one of them has this effect where they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no battle damage involving them. And they all have a unique effect where at the end of the battle phase, if they were involved in battle, they have an effect that will go off. During your standby phase, though, they shuffle themselves back into the deck. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is Camion. This one is really good because it has a non-targeting spot removal, 500 damage, and neither player can respond to it, meaning whatever card you want to get rid of, you're going to get rid of it and your opponent can't do anything about it. So, next card is Lazian. With this build being like a stall build, your opponent's going to do this thing where they're not going to play any cards because they're going to figure if they don't play, then they don't have to worry about Time Lords doing their effects. So, this guy kind of forced them to play because he's going to do 1,000 damage during their draw phase. So, this isn't an effect where he has to attack. His effect where he has to attack is he'll shuffle all cards in their graveyard into their deck. That effect's not really important. The effect that matters here is the 1,000 damage because it's going to force them to keep playing. If they don't play, then eventually you're going to burn them 1,000 times. You're going to burn them for 1,000 damage at most 8 times. The next one's Madian. He's been out for a while. He's just gonna take every other monster on the field, send them all back to the owner's hands, and then do 300 to your opponent for each one that's returned. Really good removal. Sadion he's not that great. He just returns your life points to 4,000 if they're less than that. So that's why I'm able to play most decks are going to be playing these 3 cards. But you can play more cards that are going to reduce your life points if you want, because Sadion's nothing really matters. There's one card I was looking at. Clashing Souls. You can check this card out on your own. It might be playable in this deck because of Sadion. I was thinking about it. Next card's Time Maiden, really important to this deck. You can special summon it if you control no monsters, and it counts as 2 tributes for Time Lord. The important effect, though, is that you can tribute it to add a Time Lord from your hand to your deck, and also you can banish it to special summon the Time Lord from your deck. Time Maiden ignores this first effect where it says that you can't special summon from the deck. So, first you can get that search, and then you get that special summon. So, with this deck, it's important to have a hand, because since every turn they're going to go back into your deck, you're going to eventually run out of a hand. So what you need to do is use anything that's going to keep you from having to give up your hand. So Time Maiden is going to do that for 2 whole turns. Next one is Zaphion. This one's going to bounce all of your opponent's spells and traps back to their hand. It's decent, but the effect that I really like is when it leaves the field, when it leaves the field to the grave, you draw a card. Card of Demise, like I said, you're going to have a lot of situations where you're not going to have a hand. Card of Demise is just a fix to that. Creature Swap is a really cool tech to this. I like this card a lot. So what you do is you go into battle phase, attack with something like Camion, Sadion, Zaphion, Lazian, as long as you're not going with Madian. And then, once you resolve their effects, you drop Creature Swap, take your opponent's whatever monster that they're going to give you, and then during their standby phase, your Time Lord goes back to your deck. So they're getting completely nothing out of this, because their effects can activate on their turn. 2 Dark Holes, since they can't be destroyed, and most of the time you're not even going to have a monster on the field at the beginning of your turn. Foolish Burial is for Time Maiden. 1 for 1 for Time Maiden. Duality, since Time Mane's the only one that special summons. Quiet Life, this is a new one. Each player can either normal summon or special summon a turn. They can't do both of them. It's pretty neat card for this deck. Raigeki, 2 Twin Twisters, Drowning Mirror Force, since again you're not going to have monsters a lot. Proof of Powerlessness. So with this deck, you're basically playing 4 Raigekis in it. It's really cool since but with this one it only hits level 5 for lower cards. So it kind of stops turn 1 combos where your opponent's going to be like Terror Top, Attack and Taunt. As soon as they play that card, you can flip this, destroy those 2, and they're not going to get their rank 3. You can use it against other things too. It's a cool card, I like it. 2 strikes and a Soul Mourning, and then Summon Limit. I was thinking of taking out Quiet Life and playing a 3rd Summon Limit, because at most, you're going to play 2 cards. I don't think I've ever had 3 summons in a turn. So I bet you're wondering what's going on with this extra deck. So, in the side deck, since this is like a stall burn deck, your opponent's is usually going to want you to go first on the next turn, or they're going to want to go first. Either way, they're not going to predict that you're going to side into an Invoked engine. So how we're going to do this is side out 3 card of Demise, the Quiet Life, and both Summon Limits. Duality, so that's 9 cards right there, and then probably the 2 creature swaps and maybe Dark Hole or Proof of Powerlessness. That's up to you, whatever you think is best. But your opponent's just not gonna think, oh, they're gonna go from a stall burn into an aggro Invoke deck. The extra deck, 1 Cocytus. Like I said before, I really like the draw 1 effect, All Saphian, so I'm playing that at 1 just for that. 2 Megalencias. There's only one Earth monster, but I think it's still important to play Megalencia because it gets over so much. Mechaba. The only light card is Maiden, but a lot of other decks that you're going to play against are going to be playing light attributes, so this is still going to work. Purgatorio, there's 6 fire monsters. Really good effect, too. Raiden, there's 2 Sadians, but you can probably get enough wind monsters from your opponent. The other 10s, this is kind of to throw the opponent off, because if they use an effect where they're going to see your extra deck, they're going to see all these guys when you're playing the stall burn, and like, oh, somehow they're going to get these, so if their effect's going to like banish from your extra deck, these are the guys they're going to go for. If you go into game 2 and they do something like that, these are still the guys they're going to go for. They don't know why you're playing these fusions in here. They have no idea. They're not going to go after your fusions until game 2 when you side all the Invoke stuff in. It's kind of just about making your opponent waste their material. Because you could play the... what's that guy called? You could play Elysium if you want. That's up to you. I thought about taking out Sky Palace for Elysium. Just that 1. Definitely a good card that's worth playing. That's your choice. So that's pretty much it for this build. If there's any other decks that you want to see me do discussion on, I'd like to start doing YouTube again and making more videos, more in-depth things on Yu-Gi-Oh! And Smash Bros. I'm probably going to drop like most other gaming stuff. I really just want to talk about Smash and Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part. If I eventually do get a capture card, which I'm planning on doing, I'm going to start doing like other things. But this is about it for now, so I'll see you guys next time.